All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with two guests who have been on the show before. You're not new to the show, and especially one of you has been on the show many times over the years. But you have a new project together, and that's sort of why we're doing this now. So I think the best way to start this off is if the two of you want to introduce yourselves and what you do musically, and then we can get into the project you've worked on collectively. So, Rob, you're sort of the more known quantity on the podcast. Do you want to start off by introducing yourself?
I'm Rob. I make beats and I do vocals, and I made the beats on this project that we're talking about.
Cool.
I'm Epic. I rap and I have a really good beatbox too, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, I represent the Saskatoon Folk Rap Records and Han Solo Records out of Toronto.
Awesome.
And I rapped on this project with my friend Rob.
Cool. Well, and I think we'll get into Nassau Manor, the project, but before we do that, how long have you guys known each other? Because I think the first time I heard you, Epic, was at Rob's house on a CD that he had. Like this is many years ago. So you've obviously known. I mean, at least one way there, you've known about each other for a while. What is the sort of origin of the two of you working together?
I think I met Rob maybe like 25 years ago, 24. Does that sound right, Rob? 25 years ago?
Um, Maybe probably closer to 20, but yeah, at I think I would have been like 19 or something, and I think I performed at Phonographique in
No,
Saskatoon.
I wasn't there that night. I met you actually. We That's actually a memorable night, but we never made that show. But I met you in Winnipeg, and you and um your friend, I can't remember your friend's name, but he rapped too. I should know because I have his CD still.
And
And
words, probably.
Edwards, yeah, Edwards, and you came up and gave me a CD in my car and talked to me, and then I remember asking Pip, like, do you know this Grubs guy? And that was a long time ago, and yeah.
Rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at what point did you start working together though? Because I mean, I know you've this isn't your first collaboration. You put out a 12-inch, I guess it was last year, one side each, and obviously Saskatoon folk rap. There's been projects that you've both been on and stuff before this. So what's how long has this been a work relationship? I guess.
Well, the like the prairie scene, um like we used to have like sort of a like we weren't crew, but like we were so intermingled with like our groups of friends, with like Cut Down and so work together, and that's, but I don't think we ever got on the same song until um like maybe 2020. And Rob had come to Saskatoon and did a set at a show, and of course we've been friends over the years, um and then we became closer during the pandemic, and then he gave me some beats to rap on, and I've also had a hand in like helping him release some of the projects that he does the beats for.
Okay. So I guess before, I mean, we probably should have asked this from the outset, but where are you guys right now? Because I mean, neither of you are in Winnipeg. I know it's a Winnipeg focused podcast, but I mean, there's definitely Winnipeg connections on this record, but neither of you are in Manitoba at the moment.
Rob?
I'm in Vancouver.
Rob is in Vancouver, but he was in Edmonton a week ago. We got a chance to hang out, and that's where I'm in North Edmonton. Wellington is the area that
Cool.
I live in up here.
So obviously, this was recorded. This album we're talking about was recorded in Winnipeg. I mean, the name of the apartment block, that's where you made the record. When did that happen? Like Epic? When were you in Winnipeg, and how long were you there for to make this record happen?
Um, I might not get the exact times right, but basically like uh I I did a bunch of demos in my home studio. I think we might have even ended up using like a couple of them on the album. And then Rob, uh I think there's a cheap flight to Winnipeg, so I came down and hung out with Rob and Kits for a few days, and we kind of got talking, and then he gave me a few more beats, and we ended up, I don't know if we ended up recording anything that time, and then I came back. I think we just went through beats that time, and then I came back, and then maybe um, it's coming up on maybe 2021, either 2021 or 2022 fall. I went back out to Winnipeg and recorded most of the album with and hung out again with Rob and Kits in Nassau Manor. Does that
Rob,
sound right, Rob?
you have a very confused look on your face, or quizzical look on your face.
I don't know. Was it that long ago or was it last year? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like I think it's coming up on 3 years.
Wow.
Since I recorded it, maybe, but it could be 2 years. But I think it's 3 coming up in October.
What again, it's named after the apartment block where you made the record. Do you feel that this was a particularly Winnipeg record? Having that sort of front and center on the album cover and everything definitely implies Winnipeg, and the fact that you came into the city for this. Is it a Winnipeg album?
Yeah, like I think like I have like a long history with the Winnipeg rap scene. I've been a fan for like 25 years or whatever, and I remember when I quit rapping for a period of time, like 12 or 13 years, and every couple of years I go to Winnipeg and hang out with all the homies, hang out with like Ness and Gumshoe and Yai, and but then once I went to Winnipeg and I hadn't seen anyone for like maybe like 3 years or so. And I was walking around Winnipeg, like in like the Fort Rouge area along the river. And I was thinking like, wow, like I don't even know, like I don't even talk to Winnipeg people anymore. And I was just reminiscing about like, the glory days of like going to Peanuts and Corn shows and all that. And so I distinctly remember that feeling. But then just like as fate would have it or whatever, and this was like, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or something. I started to like, I reconnected with Rob and like Gumshoe and just reconnecting. So I mean, over coming back to Winnipeg, and I got to shout out Freak Show and Shazam and Ishmael and everyone at Freak Show and Gruff, of course, and Brace. But it just recording, just like that was like those feelings are definitely in me when I recorded the album, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I guess, Rob, like a question for you then is, as far as the beats on this record, I mean, Epic definitely has a different style vocally than probably a lot of people you worked with that you made beats for, including yourself. Is there any kind of was it different making beats for this project than other things you've done? I mean, because I know you've worked together before in certain contexts, but I mean, this is the first sort of full project you've done between the two of you, right?
Yeah, I think that I've been producing a lot more for different people lately, and I try to like think of what kind of beats that I'd like them to rap on. And so I think the first batch of beats that Epic got probably weren't made with him in mind, but then as we worked on the project, I would make beats with him in mind. And there was definitely like a typical style to the drums that I wanted to capture, and like more of organic instruments. I wanted to sample like less synth stuff. And
Okay.
I think
yeah, I mean,
I've had, sorry to cut you off, Rob. You can talk after. Sorry, guys. I think like I've worked with like lots of different producers at this point, like very like talented producers, and I found there's like a spectrum of like the way producers work, like different. And one thing about this project is that like Rob, like the original beats that I rapped on, like um Rob changes the, like puts in new beats or changes the beat that I rapped on, like more than most producers that I've worked with. And so I kind of like that. Like that kind of made it seem you know, it's a different kind of his way of doing it, right?
Rob, did you have something you wanted to before you got cut off there?
I was just gonna say that like you know, the records that Epic did with So are so like important to me. Like those are such important records. And I used to think like, oh, I don't want to hear Epic on anything other than So beats. And so like that was a bit in my mind, I think, working on this, but I don't I really like how it turned out, and I really liked thinking about what kind of beats I would make that I would like on. You know, what to what Epic was saying, like I like to build, I like to make
I think we might have lost you.
people rapping on. Sorry, I have bad internet.
Yeah, no, you cut off for a second. Just go. I'll fix this obviously on the podcast.
Yeah, I was just saying that like I don't really like to give just loops to people and then they rap over them. Like I like to build the song around like what the song is about, like the themes of the songs and how the vocals come in. So that's kind of the fun part, you know, when you get a song back from someone recorded over your beat and you start thinking about all the different things you can do to make it better, you know?
Is that the process then? Like you gave them the initial beats, and then you rapped on them, and then you sort of tinkered with it and tweaked it from there.
Yeah.
Well, and then I guess Epic. What are you looking for as far as beats? I mean, I know, like you said, you like sort of the way the Rob the differences from beat to beat. But what are you looking for in a song that you think suits your style? I mean, is there a certain sound that you're sort of trying to find in a beat?
Um, yeah, like I kind of um so I'm working with another producer um that actually Rob is working with too, Scott DeRoss, Deadly Stare. And I listen to his like instrumental projects. And if like I know Rob doesn't do hasn't done you know, puts out instrumental projects, but if I hear like if I'm interested in the instrumental project, and I really, just being a rap fan, right, I know what I like with um beats that stand out on their own, right, and are interesting too, I'd have to say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What is the sort of overall? Do you think this record has a tone? I mean, I know it's not a concept album, but do you think that there's like sort of a feel to it from start to finish? Does it have a vibe to you, like that maybe is different from other projects you've done?
Rob?
I think Rob may be frozen again.
uh um yeah, it sounds um yeah, like if I listen to, I've done another couple albums recently, and like they all sound different, and I think this one's like it's like Rob really likes um like he listens to probably like a lot of East Coast rap as well. And so like I feel like the drums are you know, kind of influenced by like New York traditional uh like boom bap drums, I
Sure.
feel like. I don't know if that's correct. Like more so than maybe some of the other stuff that I've been rapping on recently. Um and I know like Rob, I used to be in a crew with Cut Down, and I know like from back in the day that like Cut Down um was really into that, right? Like making sure the drums were like, you know, um interesting and powerful. Does it, Rob, are you there?
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Cut Down was the one who got me always making the drums first. Like the drums are the first thing you make on the beat. And that's a habit I picked up from Cut Down. So yeah, for sure.
But that stuff you're doing, I mean, that whole sort of era of stuff you were doing with Cut Down, then that a lot of those beats were I don't know if ominous is the right word, but there was like definitely a darkness to them, and I don't necessarily hear that kind of feeling on this record. And again, I know you're just sort of talking about the drums generally, but not that this is super light and breezy and poppy or anything either. But yeah, it has a I don't know it has a feel to it for sure.
Yeah, like I'd say like I take pride in the and what I'm known for and the way I rap is rapping kind of how I live my life, if that makes sense. And so that being said, I don't really like I alter my raps different on different beats for sure, but it's more the like I'm gonna sound the way I rap's gonna be the same on similar projects, whereas like the beats are gonna be like different. Like there's more of a change in the beats than the way I'm rapping, I'd say. So
Sure, sure. So with this now that this is coming out, I mean, when's it coming out? First of all, I guess that's maybe something we should talk about.
yeah, it's coming out. Well, we have some singles out now that you can listen to. Um, Sad Rapper Jack is the one that. Well, we have a couple videos, but the one that we like, that Rob and I like the best, is called Sad Rapper Jack, and that's on his YouTube. Um, and then
I like them both.
the album is that Rob?
I like both of them. I think they're both great.
Well, I like the other one because I was it brings back travel memories. It's like a travel when I was in Italy, when I was in Rome, and I shot some stuff, and then Rob came back and made a video. Um, yeah, and so we have. I'm glad that you like both of them, Rob. That's awesome. The Sad Rapper Jack, I Rob came out and hung out in Edmonton and filmed it at my house, and so that was fun doing. But back to the question, it comes out on Han Solo Records. You can pre-order it now, but it'll come out on vinyl and CD on July 25th or 26th,
Cool.
and on the streaming services also. But we have 3 singles out right now, so you can yeah, listen on the streaming.
Cool. The videos, the one with the travel stuff, I like that because it seems the imagery seems very like incongruous to the very prairie sound of the music. Like it's this is clearly not the prairies, right? But there's the musical it implies the prairies, but the visuals totally do not. So it's kind of a cool contrast.
Yeah, I kind of had that idea that picked it. I could have done a video for any song when I was there, but I picked that one. But it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty bonkers rapping like in front of the Trevi Fountain with all the tourists around and
I
filming
bet.
a rap video and having like 30 people staring at you and embarrassing my wife. But I knew it was for the rap footage.
Yeah, yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when now that this is coming out, and you obviously both have a pretty good catalogs of music that you've done individually and with other people. Do you think this is going to be a more frequent collaboration between the two of you? I know geographically it's tough because you're in different provinces, but do you foresee more Epic and Rob Crooks combination stuff in the future?
Uh, yeah, yeah, for sure. If I get around to it, like I'm I'm like 52 years old, up in the rap game. So I don't know how much longer I have in the rap game, but yeah, like definitely like the plan is that we're gonna help Rob release, like he's sitting on some really awesome music, so we're gonna help him release like see like some stuff on CD in the coming bit. And yeah, I mean I the plan is, but who knows? We'll see.
Well,
We'll
what you
see
just
what
said
happens.
about the age thing, like, is there an upper limit, an upper age limit for rap? Or I mean, because I think that a lot of people, have been rapping for decades now, they're getting up there. I mean, there's people a decade older than you who are still doing it. Is there is there a cutoff, or is it something you can conceivably just keep doing till whenever?
Yeah, I think, well, the cutoff would be like, I guess, when I lose my voice. So I don't know when that, like, in rappers, when they start losing their voice or whatever. But other than that, I think I'll keep going.
Yeah. Well, and I guess
I
having
think,
that time off you took too, that probably helps with the just the ideas. I'm sure you had probably a lot of ideas that didn't come to fruition sort of during that period, and now that you're sort of actively doing this again, I imagine that you have a lot of stuff you want to put out.
yeah, for sure. Like I used to, like when I was younger, I get writer's block and like all the time, right? But now that I'm older, like I just plan on, I'm just gonna be creative and just keep going. If I have a writer's block, I'll just change and do something else,
Cool.
right? Hey,
And
Rob.
Rob's back. I think. Rob, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You were spinning around in circles for a bit, but I can hear you. What I was going to ask you, you are still making your own records, obviously, but you're also doing a lot of production for people. Do you have do you foresee yourself doing more of this sort of side of things, working on other people's records, or is it going to be fairly split evenly, for the foreseeable future? We might have lost him again.
I have either. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Can you hear
can
me?
now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I,
Yeah,
I
it's
was, I
all
was
good.
gonna do this at the office. I should have, but I wanted to come home. I have music with other people like in the works. With them rapping and doing vocalizing on my beats. But I would like to get back to focusing on my solo stuff too, actually. Like I sort of have like more ideas for like bigger conceptual projects that I want to get into, and it kind of fits into like what you were talking about earlier with like is there age cutoff for rap? And I think rap is such a versatile art form that people haven't even come close to really exploring what it can do. And I think you're starting to see that a little bit with rappers who are aging but still keeping at it, but still like sort of pushing boundaries in their own way.
Yeah,
Um, like people like Ka or even like Billy Woods. I don't know how old Billy Woods is, but like that sort of stuff where there's like just different production, different ways to approach the music. And I think that me personally, I keep having new ideas for how to approach it differently. So as long as I have those ideas, I'm going to keep doing them. Like there was that thing about Andre 3000 who said like he can't keep up with the slang or whatever. So,
yeah.
and I get that side of it. That makes sense. But I think that rap doesn't just have to be about having the most current slang and like talking the most slick, even though that is a big part of its history and that'll always be a part of the art form. But I think it's much more than that.
Is it?
I
Is
think,
it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I think like if you take a look at the mainstream, like you would think that like rap is a certain kind of way now amongst like, younger people and all that. But like there's like a really there's a lot of rappers that are like in the underground that have been doing music for 20 years, or even some that just have popped up recently, but have the kind of are in the same sort of, I don't know, I guess you'd call it the underground. We used to make fun of when people called it underground, but now it's kind of a backpacker underground is kind of more a pride thing amongst old people. I don't know, but but yeah. So if you start diving into it, like there's so many like amazing like rappers and producers that are in like their 40s and 50s right now. So yeah.
Is there an advantage to being where you are geographically, culturally? What Rob was just saying about under 3000 talking about not knowing the slang and not having that sort of element of it, like being in Canada, being on the prairies, being older than the average rapper. Do you not maybe not have to worry about that? Like that's not part of the equation, right? You can you don't have to know what the cool slang is, and you can still do, um, valid current art.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, as when we were like back in the day when rappers sounded like generic or whatever, sounded like they weren't from the prairies, like it'd be kind of a bit ridiculous. But now, and now it's like a lot of kids nowadays, because of the world's monoculture, right? Like, like the world's becoming more and more of like one, like, you go anywhere in the world and it's the same stores, but while it's a lot of it's the same way that people rap, like a lot of these kids in Edmonton, you couldn't tell, sometimes the accent a bit, but they rap like the same as if you go to like an open mic in Seattle and all that.
Yeah,
And so like we kind of take pride, like at least I do, in like, making music that's like original sounding, and um you know like in the rappers that I listen to, a lot of it too. um and and in that way we're proud to be like from the prairies, and so like we're gonna like you know we're we're gonna sound that way. So what do you think, Rob? Yes.
I agree. Yeah, no, totally. I think it's it is interesting how a lot of rap all I don't like it's you got to resist the urge to be the old guy being like, oh, these young rappers are all the same, because there's a lot of diversity and there's a lot of stuff going on that's very interesting, and a lot of stuff that's going on that I probably don't even know about. Um, but certainly hip hop has become like has taken over the mainstream culture like it hadn't really when we started rapping.
yeah,
It was still very popular, but it hadn't, rap is everything and everywhere now. And so, I think of it as like everybody fucking raps like everybody used to play the guitar, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And so there's a lot more generic stuff. There's even like a lot of rappers who are technically very, very good. But like Epic said, like just sound like who the fuck knows where they're from, who knows what they're talking about, like who gives a shit, like their content is just like useless. It's just like a lot of cliche type stuff, right? So I agree with Epic that sounding from the prairies is something that a lot of prairie rappers, not all prairie rappers, but a lot of prairie rappers have taken pride in, and I think it's something that we're trying to like carry the torch with,
yeah.
because that is important to us. I think regionalism in hip hop is very important, you know.
Well, it's weird to think that people aren't sort of representing their own culture and trying to do this, just sort of genericizing it, because to me anyway, like hip hop has always been very location based. I mean, it's people are talking about where they're from, they're talking about their own experiences, and it's very personal and very you can pinpoint it. A lot of the, like you're talking about, East Coast beats, you have an idea where that sound is from on a map because of the sound of it, right? And so it's super weird to hear people not um, individualizing their sound to and locating it to where they're from.
Yeah, there's like a lot of rappers that are like really technically good, um but then like the for one thing, the songwriting's generic. I'll now I'm starting to sound like an old guy, but yeah, like you listen to the songs and they're all like very similar, and um I don't know, I don't want to complain because I've also seen a lot of like really awesome stuff too,
For
for
sure.
sure. But um anyways, I don't know. I guess I don't have an answer other than like um I wish that you could like battle people more on the mic. Like in the olden days, it seemed like you could battle people more, but like now you can't. Like if you see a rapper and he's whack, like you're just gonna have to suck it up and like, you know, go sit down and have a drink of orange juice. Whereas back in the day, you'd like, you know, um, you'd whatever the case. I mean, I guess you got to be careful with that too, because like I remember, uh, I remember like being at a rap show and someone rapping and I was just booing, and I didn't think anyone they would be able to recognize me because it was in the crowd and I was booing. And then they came up and they're like, Epic, why are you booing me?
I like how they not only heard it was you, they knew your name
aside.
too, and they knew who you were. That's great. Yeah.
But that was like a long time ago. So
Yeah.
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 Anyways, you can't do that anymore, I don't think. Well, maybe in Winnipeg you can, but yeah. Like I come from like the basement of Peg City Hall when there's a cipher, and like Ishmael and John Smith are like, you know, rapping one after another, and like, you know, and then people being scared to even go up and rap. So kind of different now, but
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
cool.
Definitely. So before Zoom kicks us out of this thing, where can people find the record? I mean, I know it's not out yet at the time we're recording this, but once it's out, what's the best way to get your hands on a physical copy or to hear it online?
Well, the best way to get a physical copy is, I guess there's three best ways. You could order from the Bandcamp, from the Han Solo Records Bandcamp, and like our friend Thomas will ship you out a record. So that's a good way. Another way is like message Rob or I, and you know, if you're in Edmonton, I'll drive the record over or arrange to meet you or whatever. And Rob's gonna have some too. So, and yeah, also like there's certain stores that it's in. Like I know if like when I was in Toronto, Han Solo had their stuff in like Play the Record and Sonic Boom and all that too. So and sometimes we, you know, we drop them off at record stores here and in Winnipeg.
And then I guess it's on all the streaming platforms that everybody uses these days.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, anything to add about getting the record?
Yeah, hit me up. Maybe I can hook you up.
Cool. And then I guess you know, before
Yeah.
I let you go, what's the best way to find out about what you guys are doing individually or collectively as far as new music? I mean, someone could hear this a year after the record's already out, and they might want to know what else you're up to. What's the best way to track either of you down online?
Well, yeah, for me, it's like Instagram. What's the other one? Threads.
Okay.
I'm on Threads, and
You're
I'm on TikTok, but I don't. I mean, I guess if you send me a message on there, I guess you're taking a chance to get to find me. So just Instagram is probably the best way.
Cool. Rob?
Rob is on Instagram too, and he's really built up his YouTube over the years. So
You back, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the best way to find you online? Where should people go if they want to hear your music?
Yeah, Instagram, I guess. Bandcamp, actually. Go to Bandcamp, Rob Crooks, .bandcamp.com, I think. And I do have a YouTube. And some people I work with found it. It's very, very strange feeling.
I bet, yeah. I can't imagine. I mean, I have all kinds of terrible. I mean, your music is at least good. I have all these terrible bands I was in years ago with no idea how to get the passwords to shut down old YouTube accounts. So you're in a better place than I am.
Yeah.
And also like I'd like to say, if you listen to the album, and like give it a chance, because I think this is one that'll grow on you for sure, listening beginning to end.
Awesome.